It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Professor Yechiel Charles Siegman. We're here in your beautiful home in Jerusalem. And Charles, you were born in Holland in 1935.
Yes.
Where were you born? In which town?
In Scheveningen.
And you came from a religious family?
Yes.
With 5 siblings?
Right, the family, my grandchildren were all in advanced already, the older brothers. And I was the baby.
You were the youngest?
The youngest. Okay.
And your family was a religious family?
Yes.
And your father originally came from Poland?
Poland, right, and
your mother, do you know where she came from?
From she?
Your mother, where she
My mother, she came from, they had all these changing places from the place.
Hungary.
What?
From Hungary.
Well, some say Hungary, and some people say a part of Falk. I mean, I wasn't there. Okay.
And Charles, what is your earliest recollections? What do you remember growing up? You were once lost.
Well, I was as a child. I had the school was started later at that time, and I started just when the war started. In terms of schools, so I was in school for a very short time.
Was it a Jewish school?
In a Jewish school, and then everybody was break it all up. So my parents had the following exercise. They put 3 children outside in the city because my parents thought that they would be interfere with their activity. Okay, so they put them not in permanent item, but they put in the location for my brother, sister, and myself of temporary place. So they put my brother and myself, and some of the times it was my sister as well. For example, that my location was by a woman who just was given birth, and the people felt that people who just gave being babies, that they're going to be receive freedom, but that was a mistake. So we were put in that section for a while, so they had to find another place for us. And my brother and sister and I were going to different places, but they were not put in as a person for permanent. And the reason why they wanted us out there is that they were working out of hopes of getting the what they're called, the
the people who were helping the resistance? Maybe?
No, my father every day, there in the morning when he came to daven, and took us in the morning
Do you remember the shul?
In Holland? No. No.
The
What was,
synagogue?
but it was my father's shul.
Do you remember going to the shul?
No, I was coming there, and my father put me on his lap. That I remember.
Yeah.
And the one day, my father disappeared from us because my father was arrested. Okay? So the 3 children were now without parents. Okay? And what my parents were trying to do is get expert places outside from Switzerland. It had to, my aunt and my mother, sister, okay, I did not know what was doing for us, okay, but they were looking for these places to get rewarded, but it didn't last because there was a lot of people in Switzerland, right, and they charged very much, so it was even for people that weren't even genuine reports. It's all sub-one.
Charles, what happened to your 2 other siblings? You were together with your brother and your sister, but your 2 other siblings?
My older brothers,
Yeah.
they were with my father because they were very young fellows. I think one was around, who knows, 7. How old was he?
Teenagers.
What, yeah.
Teenagers.
But he wasn't helping already the father in the store, and this next one was a student. But in the the only time I remember my brother was on Friday evening at finished the meal. He went to Bnei Akiva, and I saw him go Shabbat Shalom. As that's what only I saw of him, but otherwise.
Do you remember the names of your brothers and sisters?
Yes.
If you could tell.
One was okay. Excuse me for my difficulty nowadays, because these things have.
Aaron.
What?
Aaron.
Which one?
Aaron.
No, yes, but
Aaron and
he
Yosef.
both had a Dutch school.
But it was Aaron and Yosef.
Arne Joseph, right?
And
But-
your sister?
Lily. Okay?
And Leo.
And Leo.
Leah, yeah.
The 3 younger children survived.
And their names?
No, the children
Yes, Leo, Lily, and you
didn't survive.
survived.
Did not.
Leo, Lily, and you survived the war.
Your
Oh,
two,
yes, the 2.
your,
Yes.
Okay, right.
but your
right.
2 elder brothers didn't.
No, they made it now.
Wait.
Because the that was over. They went to Westerbork, and for a short while they were in Westerbork, and then they were scheduled to go to Auschwitz.
With the parents.
With the parents.
Yes, and that.
With your mother as well.
Well, yes, my father, mother, okay, and those my older brothers, and they were first put down for, I think, a week or two in Westerbork, and then every Monday at night there was a collection of people, and they were moved out from and sent to in Auschwitz or another one. Okay, and that was it. When they put the car in the, when he, or my brothers and my parents, they have this, what was being done, people who were stuck in the terrible plane, right, and they people, they wrote postcards or letters from their points of the family. So my mother was one of those people, and he put out a postcard by my mother, and he threw it out from in the town. It was common, not always, and to do the following: you should know you will have family, people in Germany, and they going to help you. My father and mother and my brother, so they sent, he got at the bottom of his letter, he says, he put in a little Hebrew sentence to that they have kosher meal, okay, and go there. But I did not see it. My brother was older. He saw that. He had the car, that letter.
Does the letter still survive?
No, because a lot of things were taken away when they came in the items too.
So Charles, we have a picture of your family. You have a very special picture.
Well, that was my grandfather.
Can you show this picture? Because it's very special.
Yes. What?
That's one's from your parents' wedding.
From your parents'
no,
wedding?
wait, yes, right.
It's over here.
That's right. Here was the story, again, only known for what happened. This was a wedding which was my mother and father getting thing, and they have all kinds of people who fortunately were living well. Some don't anymore.
But where was the picture taken?
Well, the original wedding was supposed to be in Egypt, not Egypt. You take
Zurich?
what? In
Zurich?
In Zurich.
In Switzerland.
Right, but it was rejected because they wouldn't allow people to go to
In Germany.
Germany. So they went to Frankfurt, where they lived.
So this was taken in Frankfurt.
Right.
You can see it's a very religious family.
Yes, yes. Here is the father the mother.
And your grandparents are?
Pardon?
Your grandparents?
Those are grandparents. Oh, the grandparents, not that many. It was one or two. This is another item.
It's amazing. And how did this picture survive? It's a very special picture.
Well, yes.
It wasn't framed.
No, it wasn't there. During the war, after the war, there was a person who is a family unit, okay? He had photography on his own, but he wasn't in the army. He was all in things in the war, and he didn't distribute it for some reason. He died, and this fellow, he was a person who took for art for it, as well, but everything he had it all bended over in the book. Yeah, well,
it's amazing that this survived.
Absolutely.
It's a miracle.
His wife saw when he died, and when he came, the sister, the sister saw this picture and donated quotation marks to all the people who were involved.
Wow, in the family.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yes.
1928.
1928.
Right.
This is so special.
Yes.
Just
Right. But then we asked other thing
As we can.
for the
Charlie's father's younger brother, Mendel. He was still single here, but he had children and an old grandmother, and they fled from Belgium until they could get to a boat to get to America, and they got to America. He had 6 children of his own, and after the war they took in Charlie and his brother. He raised 8 children in New York.
Really? What was his name?
Mendel Siegman, and he was also the head of Mizrahi in America.
He was a baby, like at 3 years. That's for the baby. So my brother were looking for me.
You were at the beach and you were lost.
And the police picked it up, and my brother came, and what I recall that he put his cap from the army for the police, but no harm. So my brother came. The second one was already closer to, I think, 5, because he took for an outing with my sister. Maybe was playing, I don't know. And he ran over from, my sister was kind of walking with the child, or with me, and I dashed away, and I ran, and then I hit the wooden things on the right here.
On the swing.
And the swing, the wood, and okay, and here it is, the thing.
Wow.
And it was said, if it goes in one part over here or here, you're blind.
Blind.
Right.
Wow, it's
and then
a
in
miracle.
between, that was survival. Okay?
Wow.
So those are the two things I said were savoring things. And that's part of what happened in our
And you
life.
remember these incidents?
Those two I remembered, all, both of them, yes.
And Charles, what is your earliest recollections? What do you remember growing up in your home before the war?
Herring on Matzah Shabbos. Okay?
Sure.
That was done. But I was not counted. I mean, I was a child. I mean, did much do. Okay. Also, when this he gave. Also, he gave it. No, you get a present when something happens. So, my parents or my mother bought a wind-up slip. So, and yes, and I remember that one. I sat at the table myself, and I opened up the thing. This I remember, on this side, and then the way cross over, and that I remember. But don't ask me why. I only remember that. But anyhow, that's children. But anyhow, so then the next part is that our three, my brother, sister, and myself, we were on our own, and they were then moved in. They're collecting all people for for children. They collected from all parts in Holland, and then they also had written a statement that they're going to go to Auschwitz because they were very busy. They had to make room. So when we were scheduled exactly like my parents of being advised or report to leave out with go to Auschwitz.
Were you taken to Westerbork?
We were supposed to, yes. We were scheduled.
You were scheduled to go. That was the
Right.
transit camp.
That was, yes. We were for a short while, we were in just a small part time in Holland. But it was scheduled to go to Auschwitz. Okay? This was on Shabbat. The letter came from the documents that made it available for us. Okay? And so that changed our role. Okay? But what made it even more, let me start saying this. When I said that the children were out as well, they had for the peoples who were put out outside because they were illness. Okay, so they did not put us for 1 week because they didn't want to have the soldiers and have for the rest of the soldiers.
To get ill.
Right. And then when this was cleared, then on Shabbat of that location, they had supposed to go in. On Shabbat, says the letter came for from the church that we are different because we were given this special or so, and
His mother's sister. Turn it off for a
What?
second. Sister Rosie.
This is the mother, sister Rosie,
Rosie.
and she's in the picture.
she and
In,
her husband.
and her husband Moritz. So they lived in Zurich, and they were instrumental in getting these
Oh, yeah.
false.
Like,
We don't know, in fact, whether nobody knows
If the documents were.
how many. See, they were six people. Correct?
Six, you were three, and then your two older brothers
No,
and your
well, not
parents.
separate, and then us three. Okay?
and they sent these documents.
That was a false.
And they paid a lot of money, but they were,
Right.
they were,
And they lived in Zurich.
What? It was given from this false thing.
what were they, like transit visas?
What?
Were they kind of transit visas?
No.
No?
No. But that was not a problem.
Yeah, but
because-
that was to go to a South African country. To
Oh,
Honduras.
okay. No, more than south. Okay. That's really part.
No?
So what happened?
What?
The letter came.
The letter came for the children, for us. And I was told that everybody in the Siegman family was supposed to go and be in a different doing it. But my father and mother and brothers had gone already.
They were deported already.
Yeah, yes. So we don't know exactly whether that was put into the envelope for us plus those others or not. There's a machloket on that. Some people say that it was for everyone, and the other one says no, he's not coming. But it's very difficult going to some that they would have put away once you get this thing. It was
These are visas. These are
visas, yes. But
documents.
it's a false.
Yeah, they were like maybe counterfeited visas.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Anyway, but they weren't any help for my parents and brothers.
But it helped you and your brother and your sister.
Yes, correct.
And how did they bring it? How did they bring the letter?
Through the mail. That's
It went through
interesting.
the mail.
It
was-
went through the mail. Everybody can.
And it came just in time.
Yes, but they didn't do exactly. That's right.
It's incredible.
That's right.
Can you imagine getting mail in a concentration camp?
It's amazing.
That's right. No, that's what.
It's crazy.
And where were you at this time when the letter came?
It's reason.
We were
I
in
mean,
the
it happened.
Westerbork.
You were already in Westerbork.
Yes.
So you were actually sent to
Also,
Westerbork.
yes, my brothers, my parents were put out.
So you and your brother
And-
and your sister, you were taken to Westerbork.
Yes, and my
And-
parents already were
They were deported to Auschwitz already.
right. But then what they did in the children, they put them all over from the whole of Holland, and had the same story like my parents on Friday night. for dispersing.
Do you remember being in the camp in Westerbork?
Oh yes, because after this we were placed in part of a item.
Were you together with your brother and sister in Westerbork?
Yes.
And did you have enough food to eat, or was it very difficult conditions?
Well, I was lucky. The one who my brother and sister and myself were placed for some reason that all three of us were put to the boys and girls, to go in the just under somebody's ruling. So there was a person who was a German person who had to take care of, call them poor people who have, again, with other people. But I was lucky that the one who was in control, I mean, good Jew. He had a son of my age, so he put me in during the day, and I was playing and doing the things, and little food better than others.
And how long were you in Westerbork?
1 year.
You were there in the camp for 1 year?
Yes. Had all kinds of things, because they didn't know, you see, what happened.
Gee, this is amazing.
Yes, yes. When the people who had these
visas, these documents,
would have documents, but only because if they could get something in return. Okay? In our case, was given or bought from a place which was the false from the okay that they had now, I say 3 or 5, I don't know. We were supposed to taken by the
How come you stayed there for so long? How come you never went to...
Well, the person who was taking care of in the case of the fellow who was with a well, they didn't know what to do, okay? But because we're not the reason for why they kept people for special out in order to get benefits, because they needed medicines, certain foods and everything else, but we were not any quality for that job, so we were in our place. So my brother was called in one day that the Gestapo was supposed to said that my brother and Lily, my sister, and I have to come in. Okay? And
This is Leo, your brother Leo.
Leo was the speaker, right?
How old was Leo at this time?
Yes.
10 years.
He was 4 years older.
4 years older than you.
Lily was 2 and he was 2 more.
Right, more.
He was more.
I think, yeah, okay. But there was I was already in school.
And can I just ask?
Wait, no, it wasn't. That's irrelevant. But anyway, it was that item, and when we came in there, the Gestapo asked my brother, "Do you speak?"
Honduran.
What? Honduran. Okay. And my brother he was urged by some professor to just say that you have friends and relatives in in France. No.
Switzerland.
We're the sister, right? Anyhow, and then he asked, "Do you speak Dutch?" Not Dutch.
Honduran.
What?
Just Honduran.
Honduran, right?
So maybe they had visas to
Yes. Of course, that was
to South America.
Yes, right. And
They speak
And
Spanish.
he asked me for my brother, "Do you speak
They speak Spanish.
Spanish?" Exactly. We don't know whether that was a trick or whether that was thing.
And you remember this incident?
We heard about that, yes, but these things just hang around. You come in, but we were as a threesome. We all went, but anyway, we were spared. But the bottom line is they let us go. Okay, but they still didn't have anything for good to do. It was lucky that they left out and they moved us to a place which was in the beautiful place, quotation mark. They stopped the main ships and all of that, and they were now taking place over in for.
Did you leave the camp? Did you leave Westerbork?
We left yes.
And where did you go to after you left?
We went to, there was the place for the British, not the British, the
Czech.
what? The Czechs, right? The Czech.
You went to Terezen.
Terezen, yes.
You went from Westerbork, you were taken to Terezenstadt.
Yes, right.
To Terezen.
Yes, right.
And compared to, how was Terezen compared to Westerbork?
They had better compared to anything else around, but not very good. So they had all kinds of stuff. I'll show you.
So you stayed in Terezen till the end of the war?
End of the war, right.
And how were the conditions in Terezen?
Well, not bad, not good.
Was it better than Westerbork?
Oh yes, Yes, but that's why I'll show you just a minute the.
We went with our family.
What?
We were at children's. You want to? I'll show you a little booklet.
And do you remember when the camp was liberated?
Oh yes, sure. But that was good. But you asked about
The conditions in the camp.
it. Yes, okay. Here was Terezen was used for people with privileged, okay, and they had a place. Rabbi Leon Beck,
Leo Beck.
Leo Beck, yeah.
right? He was, he in fact, by the way, which I remember too, he had a minyan on Shabbat, and he was with the every Shabbat with a kippah. Okay.
And you and
My brother,
Leo and Lily, you were all together in Terezen.
yes, yes, but she was not part of the davening.
Sure.
Okay.
And did you have enough food, or were you hungry?
Well, the food was limited. The morning they allowed to pick up the food for the breakfast from the soldiers. If there was left over, then it's okay. If not, otherwise. But they had no formal meal till lunch. Okay. So they had.
This was in Terezen. Were you
In Terezen, everybody received a
bowl.
a bowl and a bag and all metal. I have all those colors.
A bowl, a spoon,
It's inside.
No, okay, but I had. Okay, fine. No, but Nikita, we have. Okay, go ahead. But that is different. But that was not. That's dated already. Okay. Okay. But anyhow.
And how long were you in Terezen?
Year
Until the end of the war?
and a little bit more, right?
And what do you remember from Terezen? What do you remember? What were you doing during the day?
I roamed around for quite a bit. The people over there who worked in the work camp, but they came back to in the evening for had people some education.
And you remember Leo Beck?
Yes, in the evening they closed upstairs, and when they came, it had a person watching outside. If the police comes, then they started playing games. And otherwise, they did had little classes, but just to keep things for the younger people. And that was for Hebrew and English, and including had two things which left over of having special Hebrew song. Okay?
Do you remember the song?
Yes.
You sing?
Okay. They had two songs. It was not. It was what was given by the teachers. Quotation marks. They had. That's why I was looking for it. Okay.
Shomer Yisrael.
I should have left it over here.
Do you remember the songs?
Yes.
You remember Shomer Yisrael, dear?
Shema Yisrael.
Shomer.
What?
Shomer Yisrael.
Shomer Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael. Eit Ladat, okay. I'll give you the whole, and Shema Yisrael.
What tune did you sing it?
What?
Do you remember the tune?
Shemor Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael, etc. And it was in groups singing. It was two songs, but we know, at least as a child, had no idea what it was all about. But later on, it was there. Okay?
Wow. And
And then finally, they had very limited food, this left over, and every month you had to get your new paper, and if you don't have your during the month, you don't get any.
Ration card.
a ration card.
Yeah. And the story is that I protected the
Never lost it.
but
You never lost it.
yes, that's what they say. But anyhow, the Russians were coming up against the and brought people over out of the country was taken out.
And you remember the Russians advancing?
Yes. And the man, they came, they threw out candies for children. 3.5 years of having candy. That was a big thing.
So you hadn't seen it for so long.
That's right. And they also gave their food, but not a lot because the Russians were not very rich. And it turned out after history that it was better for having food,
Less food.
which is better to have, but whereas people in other places
They overate.
ate because the eating wasn't good. But anyhow, so we had bits and pieces, and we were people from the Russians who were very good, according to some, and then there were some who, one woman who lived right there, was grabbed, was taken of her watch, stole, and then later on I heard that she was also was was taken for abuse.
And Charles, do you remember the fortress in Terezen?
The which?
The fortress? These pictures of the, this is a small fortress, and...
No, we didn't go into the small one.
You didn't go?
No. That was a punishment place.
But you never went?
Not there, no. No, it was terrible. That was punishment.
And do you remember friends or people being deported? Because Terezen also was a deportation camp. Did you see people being deported on trains and taken away?
Oh yes.
While you were there?
Oh yes. The whole place was changed each time when they needed more place for them, and they shipped them to death camps or other places.
Were you there when the Red Cross came, ever?
What?
When the Red Cross came, were you there in Terezen when the Red Cross? People from the Red Cross, when they...
Oh, the Red Cross, okay. That's the next, that was occurred over there. While we came, there was already this event of having a false program of forming a very beautiful place in for people in order to find proof that they're good people.
It was to showcase.
And to showcase. And so they cleared off a part of the place, and also they would have dances, music, good things to eat, and having things, but they only allowed people from the place who spoke not for any other language except for them. So he couldn't go when they had the invitation for the people who was going to go for that fancy prepare, and they fell for it. And what happened, the people gave applause and gave them time, and also gave them the things that they wanted for, they needed for it. So when they finished that item, they took the people who created the whole place, and they shipped them out at the next morning, because they wanted to make sure that they don't ordinate that this is the real thing. So people was doing that, but we were not part of that whole thing because we came too late. We were there, that we were not part of it. But anyhow, then, as you say, they had then the what's happening for the and the before that, really, when they really came out of the Nazis, they ran away.
This is when the Russians came, when they
Yes.
liberated.
Liberated, right. And they got them out, and the soldiers came out, running out from where we were standing or so, and they put
And you remember when
they took a golden one soldier took it and took a he took his Bonnie.
Watch off of
Yeah,
me.
no, the watch was taken already later. Yeah. But they were one sent anyhow.
But when you were liberated,
Yes.
how did you feel when you knew that the war was over?
Well, first everybody could not get out, for two reasons. One reason is that they did not allow a person to go away from just a person cannot go and get out. So if you were people like in Holland, if you have a place in Holland, there a lot of people died already in Holland.
Did you know that your parents and your two brothers had been killed? Did you know at this time? Did you know about your parents at this time?
Oh, we knew already.
You already knew?
We knew that because I remember my mother's little card of saying to
So you
you
knew.
have a friend, you have family, and all of that, and go
So
to
you knew
Switzerland.
you knew they weren't coming back.
No.
So how long did you stay in Terezen after the war?
Around, they had to have a place, and we had no place to go. Okay, so we had a person who was a person who has been designated to help out about issues in the bank, over there, and they were responsible to do so. She was a woman. She was in Holland also a woman who was a wonderful woman. Her husband, in the middle of this year, pushed out to parts of the country, but no longer in hand. So she was still there, was like holding for the young children. And so she was able to get out because she had a brother who has a...
Do you remember her name?
Yes, sure.
What was her name?
Malka.
And you went to stay with her?
Yes, because he was able to get out of...
She came to her wedding.
Really? And I
She
think you
lived
have
in
a picture.
Chicago.
There's a picture of, I think.
No, there isn't.
There's not. And she was in Amsterdam.
Yeah, no, she was, yes. And
So
she had a brother who was married to a not Jew, so it was permissible to bring it back to the country. And then she offered to include us. Okay?
and you stayed with her.
Yeah, we stayed with her for a very short time. Okay? And there, once she was brought out there, a relative of, in Holland, who was a survivor, who has been 2.5 years hidden of his hidden place, and he came out after that. He and his wife, they used to be having a very elegant restaurant
In
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Okay, but they were had nothing to do, and they took us over.
And what was her name? Do you remember?
Who? His name? Berger. Berger. He had the restaurant.
And how long did you stay in their home?
Amsterdam.
Yes, but he used to have a beautiful hotel and everything. Okay, so he himself had little warning. The daughter, they had 2 sons who were hidden, each part, and survived. Okay, and they want to get out of Holland as fast as they could. That was very standard, and so their son and their 2 others wanted to get to Palestine. So anyhow, the room was small. They dumped him out and put us in there because we were the children and the others were older. And parents were very upset because they had not be together with the mother, with the children. And they say, no, I'm going out to Palestine. So the parents yielded to go to come stay till after Yontif. And so he was a little bit of time with us. That was it.
And then you were sent.
Then the family, Berger family, had to find a person who is more of a relative than he and she, which he found out, because not everybody ended up with any things. And my uncle over there was now decided that it should go to a relative on the more advanced. So the people, the person in Amsterdam, or 4, right? in Holland was not there. He had heard that he had a uncle. Now he has 6 children at that time. Also was after the war. Had his own problem. But anyhow, they took us to do that and to go to Holland.
And where did they live? In
the United States.
the United States.
Right.
And you went with Leo, with your brother?
Exactly. And my sister, of course, the mother, but they were taking important. Everybody wanted to have the children. My brother and I was told by, not by our decision, but by
It's difficult.
difficult. Oh yes, and my aunt said she needs a child too, because she had a children that are not as good, because she had no children, a woman. So the decision was she goes to
Zurich.
Europe, and others go there.
It must have been very difficult when you were split up.
That is right.
It must have been exceptionally difficult.
Very correct. But it meant well, quotation mark, but was not fair to break the...
It wasn't fair.
Right. And my brother...
So in the picture you went to...
So the boys went to his father's brother, Mendel, right here, he wasn't married yet. And the girl, Lily, went to their mother's sister.
Who was in Zurich.
Yeah, she and her husband were in
And
Zurich.
where did Mendel live?
Well, he was on the flight from Belgium to the United States. They lived in Manhattan when they got to America. But he wasn't married yet in this picture, in
Yeah, this is
1928.
before.
So anyway, that...
And they were good to you? Mendel was good to
yes,
you?
They were wonderful.
yes, no, it was wonderful.
He was raised
And
as one
sent
of the
to
children.
yeshiva and all of that.
Which yeshiva did you go to?
Tiferes Yerushalayim.
Moshe Feinstein.
Rabbi Moshe Feinstein's yeshiva. And were you in touch with your sister?
Ha!
It must have been so difficult to be, after being
Absolutely.
a unit, to be
My
separated.
My sister was very upset, exposed, that either we go with her or she'll go with them.
Yeah.
Did not see my sister a long time, 40 years,
For how many years didn't you see?
40.
40 years you never saw your sister?
From 1946
Six.
to 1960.
So yeah, 46 to 60.
16 years.
16 years. 16 years is a
15
long...
years. That's okay,
It's
right.
a long time. It's
A long time. I wrote letters every day.
Wow.
Okay.
And could you speak on the telephone, or it was too expensive?
Those days.
Those days it was very expensive.
Yes.
Oi, that's so sad.
No.
But did she have a happy upbringing, your sister?
Well, my sister was upset because 2 verses 1, and she wanted to be with us.
Oh, that's so
Okay.
odd.
And so he went with the grandmother, and she wanted to go out as well, because she was ready of youth item, and she was active in Bnei Akiva, and person of the town over there, was leader.
Was she in where was she in Zurich?
First in Zurich, finished off whatever it was, and then she moved to the person who is the a person who is the leader of the Bnei Akiva. He went to Israel, and she followed him,
And she
married,
and she lived here.
left and right, for many years.
And did you come visit her in Israel when you?
After
Well, she passed away a few years ago.
if you
just
lived
But
now,
he's
but
still
no.
alive. He's 95.
your brother Leo,
No. Her husband
her husband,
Husband.
and Leo Leo
Leo-
still?
passed away.
He passed
Oh, he-
away. But you were close with Leo.
Yes. He also went to the yeshiva, and when he went to business, and did not have children. But he was living
you remained close?
in Israel first, or for a while, then the United States. Then he was ready to go to Israel, and then he died. But he had a very peaceful death.
And can I ask, in all this time, did you always remain frum? Did you always remain religious?
Yes.
And your emunah, you always kept your emunah? Because it's not a given. It's
It was
not
good.
a...
No, I mean my relatives, my uncle and aunt, and the yeshiva. I was respectful to live up to it.
And if I can ask, what message do you give your children and grandchildren? What advice do you give to the future generations?
Well, first of all, that I could not make the decision for whatever it was. Okay? But they were very included me to the whole family, and good yeshiva, college, and everything else. So I cannot complain, and I was treated very well of that. And my children, my wife first of all, okay, and the children, thank God, are all part of Shomrei Mitzvot and
It's
all
wonderful.
that. Right.
It's
Yeah, but I apologize because I've given.
No, it's been amazing.
Because I still do, to various for making in preparation of these things, and they're very good.
It's wonderful. So I just want to thank you. I'm so grateful to you.
Yeah, but it's not.
Prof, it's been so amazing to hear your story and what you went through, and I'm so grateful. It's been such a pleasure and an honor and a privilege to be here and to hear your story and what you went through, and you remained from, and look what you had to endure and to go through Westerbork and Terezen. So many people didn't make it, and they were sent to camps and they died in the camps. And you survived. It's miracles that you got the letter in time. That it's just amazing. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yeah.
There were Nissim and Niflot, such miracles.
Correct. But it was not at least it was not my wisdom.
But Hashem had a plan, and thank God.
And
it's wonderful. You should just be well and have mazel and bracha.
Right.
And it's just been such a privilege to be here today.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so
Let me
much.
tell you something else. Charlie didn't tell you about his career.
You became a professor.
Yes.
He had an amazing career.
What was the career?
Well, first he taught college. Is it okay if I share
Yes,
that?
yes, yes.
And then he worked at the Federal Reserve Board for 30 years. And you can look in some of the tributes here.
That's amazing. Wow, from the Federal Reserve.
Yeah. That's Alan Greenspan.
This is from Alan Greenspan.
Well, he worked with all these people.
So you remember Alan Greenspan?
Of course.
Yeah, sure.
He's a legend. Sure.
Yes.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
If you want to take a peek through these.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's Ted Truman.
And when did you make Aliyah?
Well, officially we made Aliyah in 2003. But we still kept our house there and went back and forth.
And you happy you came to Israel?
Oh, sure.
But we have
We still had a son in New Jersey, so we didn't want to give it up right away. So we kept it. And then one summer we came back, and a neighbor up the block knocked on the door and said, "We'd like to buy your house." And that was it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
No, I do now readings and good people right here in Israel.
About your
Oh
experiences.
yes, but different
Okay.
for different people.
Yeah.